the First World War. It starts with literally horses and carriages and ends with tanks. So it's the moment where modern war, you could argue, begins. From the very beginning, I felt this movie should be told in real time. Every step of the journey, breathing every breath with these men, felt integral. And there is no better way to tell this story than with one continuous shot.
3, 2, 1, go, go!
From the first moment I talked to Sam about the idea of it as a one-shot movie, I knew it was going to be really immersive.
It's meant to make you feel that you are in the trenches with these characters.
The film in itself is a slice of time.
These two young men get sent on a mission to deliver a message to stop an attack.
Action!
So they've got to cross into enemy territory on a race against time to deliver a message that will save 1,600 lives.
And the camera never, ever comes away from the two characters.
There's always that sort of get-out-of-jail card that you have with the movie. Well, you know, we might be able to cut around this, or we might take that scene out. That's not possible on this film. The dance of the camera and the mechanics all have to be in sync with what the actor's doing. When you achieve that, it's really beautiful and exhilarating. Sometimes you have a camera being carried by an operator, hooked onto a wire, and the wire carries it across more land, and it's unhooked again. That operator runs with it, then steps onto a small Jeep, which carries him another 400 yards, and he steps off it again and goes round a corner.
Let's go back to 1.
This film does not take place in a series of interiors. This is endless exteriors. No location ever repeats, so you're constantly moving through landscapes.
Being such an exterior movie, we're very dependent on the light and the weather. And we kind of realized, well, for a start, you can't really light it.
Action.
Because, you know, if you were running down a trench and turning around 360 degrees, there's nowhere to put a light anywhere. And because we were shooting in story order, we have to shoot in cloud to get the continuity from scene to scene. So some mornings, the sun would be out and we couldn't shoot. So we would rehearse.
And we're rehearsing.
And then we'd be waiting around, everyone with their eyes up in the sky, trying to see how long it'd take for the sun to move behind the cloud.
And as soon as it comes over, you've got this 5-minute window.
Everyone would be like, come on, go, go, go.
Go, go, go!
So you are also in the lap of the gods.
It's like a piece of theatre every take. Once it starts, it can't stop. If something goes wrong, you just have to keep going.
Until you actually see it on a screen, you don't really realize how immersive it is and how that technique kind of draws you into it.
For me, engagement is very important. And that is behind the way in which we've decided to shoot this film. I wanted people to understand how difficult it was for these men. And the nature of that is behind everything.
Greetings and welcome to the Film School. I'm Joe.
And I'm Chris.
And we're going to be talking about 1917 tonight, the new film from Sam Mendes, who is also the director of American Beauty.
Skyfall.
And Road to Perdition. Yeah.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, right off the bat, that's my favorite film that he's done so far. And I love Skyfall. That's a classic Bond movie, but this movie is incredible.
It is. It's amazing. This movie is Wait, incredible. Yeah, that's the word. Definitely incredible.
Definitely incredible. It's a beautiful experience on the big screen. And
Just
before
listen to Joe, don't listen to me.
whatever.
Shit.
Hey, before we go into spoiler territory real quick, I just want to kind of give a quick setup. So it's basically the story of two soldiers who are tasked with sort of an impossible mission. They got to go deep into enemy. This is during World War I, by the way. So two soldiers in World War I have to go deep into enemy territory to deliver a message that basically 1,600 men are walking into a trap. And one of those men is the brother of one of the soldiers. So there's sort of a personal mission here. And the film, incredibly shot by Roger Deakins, which we will discuss in length here in just a moment. It's shot so it's seemingly all one take with natural light and more external shots than internal. So we'll go ahead and throw up a spoiler wizard right now, right? We're going to do a little spoiler magic. Spoilers. So we can kind of go in depth and break it down. Man, I loved this movie.
Yeah, I did too.
I think it's my favorite film of last year. And apparently the Golden Globes agree with me since it won Best Drama.
And like you were saying, what do you think Stanley Kubrick would think of this movie?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
all those trench shots. I mean, you know that they had to be influenced by Paths of Glory.
Oh, for sure.
So I wonder if Kubrick, if lived long enough to see this film, I wonder what he would be saying about it, what his thoughts would be. I bet he would really have enjoyed it. It feels like it's in real time. There's kind of one time lapse when he gets knocked unconscious.
Right.
And I just rethinking in my head, I don't even remember how the camera managed to get, because it's constantly moving, but it's not. There have been other films that have attempted to do the long take. The film is a seemingly long take with minimal cuts, like Rope, Hitchcock, which is a classic. Birdman, Best Picture, what, 2015? Mm-hmm. Or 14, same year as Grand Budapest Hotel, which I think should have won, but that's a different story. Birdman's a good film, but I thought it drew attention to the long takes, where I feel like this movie's a lot more subtle, right? The way the camera moves around, sometimes you forget how it went from point A to point B in that shot.
Yeah, like just that opening shot, dude. Like, it's crazy, dude. Like, I was trying to
figure out how they could have done it.
Yeah, because like
technical achievement.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. Like.
Well, I was tripping out the same thing. When they get into the truck, when he gets into the truck, the soldier with the other soldiers, and he's riding, and the camera goes into the truck, and it's moving across, and then it goes right back out. And it's like, how did they rig that? And it doesn't seem like it's on a set, because they go right out into an exterior. Was that maybe one of the digital cuts, maybe?
I don't know.
There were only a couple of spots where you could tell that it was a digital cut, that there was an edit, but it was kind of seamless, so it still feels like it's all one take, like when he drops into the water,
right?
And that's good though, because things like that are helpful in trying to make a film that feels like it's one shot, because it would be next to impossible to do a film like this in an actual single take.
Roger Deakins is just amazing, man. I mean,
yes,
that guy just has an eye.
Wouldn't you agree? He's one of the greatest living cinematographers right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He won an Oscar for Blade Runner 2049, and if you're not familiar with him, which is funny too, because when we saw Blade Runner 2049, I was like, Roger Deakins should get an Oscar nom for that, but they won't nominate him. Sci-fi. And I don't watch the Oscars anymore, and lo and behold, not only did he get nominated, he won. Yeah. So kudos to you, Roger Deakins, because you deserved it. I feel like he deserves the nom for this, and should probably win it, and I hope he does. He's shot a number of Coen Brothers movies, from Barton Fink all the way through True Grit, and then again for Hail Caesar. And then they've, Barry Sonnenfeld did their first two movies, Blood Simple and Raising Arizona, and then they had that other guy for Inside Llewyn Davis and Ballad of Buster Scruggs. But Roger Deakins has shot the bulk of their films.
The French and Bruno something. But he shot Amelie and. Anyway.
But yeah, so he's got a great eye.
Yeah.
If I was a professional filmmaker working in Hollywood, he's the guy I would want to Either him or maybe Vilmos Zsigmondt. He's a good cinematographer too. In fact, we ought to just do an episode about cinematographers.
Yeah, late great Vilmos Zsigmondt.
Yep. Dean Cundy.
Dean Cundy, yep.
Or is it Cundy? I've always heard it. I guess it's Dean Cundy, so apologies to those who know.
Robert Elswit.
Yeah. Douglas Slocum.
Fearless Vampire Killers.
Yeah, which I just got the Warner Archives.
So did I, my friend.
Nice. So we have to do. We've heard what you're saying. This is a quick segue, but we've heard what you're saying, and you guys like our collection episodes. We want to start doing more. And we'll come back to that, but I mean, just so you know, we're going to start doing covering other distributors as well as just let's take a look at the vault and the collection. You know, I would also like to do an episode about title designers for films. You know, Saul Bass and Maurice Binder, and I'd like to do one about cinematographers too, because I think they kind of go unsung. Most film people talk about writers and directors and maybe film composers. People don't really talk about the editors. They don't talk about the costume designers like Edith Head. You know, they don't talk about cinematographers, and I think cinematographers are as crucial to a film as the director. You know, as the acting, as everything else. I mean, in fact, it might be the most important thing, because whatever you do, if it's not shot right, if it doesn't have somebody with a good eye who can get what the director's trying to convey, it's all going to be shit anyway. Right. So
exactly.
In this movie, oh man, I gotta tell you, it felt like you're in the trenches.
Yeah, it did.
Good performances too. Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Farrell, and I forget the Irish actor who played Moriarty on Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, but he was my favorite character.
Yeah, I don't remember that guy's name, but yeah,
he was nice and cynical. Yeah. Really kind of puts it's another one of those.
Mark Strong.
Oh, that's right.
Strong was in it.
And he wasn't a bad guy this time.
Right.
He was a nice guy.
Right.
It's really weird when you see a guy who's known for playing villains and then he's kind of a nice guy in this movie. But it was another one of those war movies that sort of is war as hell, but it also felt like an adventure film because you go on a journey, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a really amazing odyssey in a way. Tragic too. But I think we talked about this after the movie. I think the scene that stood out the most to me was once it transitioned to night, and I forget the character's name, but he's in the bombed out Parisian or French city, and it's lit up by flares.
Oh, the flares! Yeah, that scene was really cool.
Kind of reminiscent of Apocalypse Now,
yeah,
but also different too.
Right before they get to the compound, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of similar, but I mean, just beautifully shot. Like, just incredible. Everything was just so fluid and alive. It's one of those moments like Ad Astra had a few moments that I remember talking about in our review, then watching it just like, wow, I'm really watching this. This is happening. This is cool. So for my money, I'm giving this 4 out of 4 stars, and I recommend seeing it on the big screen.
Definitely 4 out of 4. This movie is brilliant, amazing.
And the score. Are you getting the soundtrack?
Yeah, Thomas Newman did the score. He definitely knows how to score a movie a lot better than his brother, but hey.
Is he really related to Randy Newman?
No, he is. That's
Are
his
you
brother.
kidding me?
No.
His brother? I love L.A. You mean the same guy who's like, short people got no reason to live?
Sorry, I'm just not a fan of Randy Newman.
Hey.
No offense to anybody else.
You got a friend in me.
But, yeah, no, I'll be picking that up on vinyl for sure. I don't know when it'll be released, but...
I'm hoping this gets some kind of like steelbook release on 4K, because I'll be buying it regardless. But it deserves like a really nice package for a beautiful film. To me, it was a moving story. It was gripping and compelling, thrilling, everything you'd want in a war movie. But it kind of had an emotional core that I really liked, because it dawned on me, like, again, we talked spoilers here. It bookends itself. Our main character is resting at the beginning of the film against a tree, and it ends with that, and it's the whole, like, he's just trying to get a little bit of downtime is what I felt, because he's missing his wife and his daughters,
Right.
And powerful stuff. I hope it wins Best Picture. I mean, either that, The Irishman, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but...
It's between those three, for sure.
Yeah, but I really think that this film, or The Irishman... This is still my favorite film in 2019, so I'm gonna root for you. buddy?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, Joe. It's
The only way I can describe it is, I mean, you feel like you're really going along for the journey on this one, and it has some really good surprises and some heartbreaking moments, you know, because it's war. War is hell on earth, and I certainly wouldn't want to be in war, but especially trench warfare, man. You got to think these guys were down in these trenches for months on end just to claim a few lousy feet.
Well,
they were killing each other just for a few inches and a few feet.
They're in the cold.
Yeah.
There's no food.
Did find it interesting that the German bunker and trenches was a lot nicer, a lot more heavier fortified than the British. Which kind of shows you, you know, the Germans have always been a little bit of innovative, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? But, yeah, super awesome movie. Go see it.
Yes.
But
I recommend it.
Highly. Also, like I said, we've got some of our collection episodes coming up here in the future, and I think one we're going to do next week, I think Chris here is going to take that. So why don't you tell us what you're going to be up to? I'm excited for this.
So I'm going to be talking about, I'm a huge vinyl collector, and Waxworks Records, they're based out of New Orleans, but they do a lot of really awesome vinyl releases of movie soundtracks from Friday the 13th to just obscure slasher movies like Prowler.
They put out Prowler?
Yeah, I bought it, dude. Prowler.
Nice.
Yep.
Then they do Evil Dead.
Evil Dead 2.
Yep.
Just they do some amazing. They get these artists to do the artwork for their vinyl covers and stuff, and they're just a really cool company, and so tune in.
And by the way, didn't they do Darkman? Wasn't that a Waxworks?
Yeah. Darkman, no.
That's good stuff. And I only have a handful. Chris definitely buys more in the soundtrack on vinyl than I do, but there are choice ones that I would like to get. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring. And if you guys like that, we'll have more coming for you. So thanks for joining us.
Yes, and please like and subscribe. We love you guys, so
we appreciate it.
Hopefully you love us too.
We appreciate the feedback too.
Yes.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. Go see this movie, seriously. Do yourself a favor. Just go see the damn movie.